you may think in the next talk that you're actually watching an optical illusion. You may think when you see this person, that woman doesn't look like she's actually 25. It's not an optical illusion, it's actually true. The next speaker is probably about 5 or 10 years younger than most of us. But nevertheless, she has the guts to come up here and tell us something. She did a project for her high school studies, and she's going to tell us everything about it. And in fact, we are the subject of her research.
So, thank you very much. Hello, my name is Helena Kuehnle. I'm 15 years old and a high school student at the Literargymnasium Remibühl in Zurich. I did a 2-week internship at the Department of Geography at the University of Zurich. I will talk about my project called What is Geography? Now, I'm really interested and quite enthusiastic about geography. In school, I love those days we have the subject on our class schedule. Among my friends, I'm also known as the geography freak. And when I'm at home, I love to deal with particular phenomena of the planet Earth, like hurricanes or earthquakes. So, as we had to do a school project in the form of an internship, social project, or a language course, it was for me the perfect opportunity to work for 2 weeks at the university department and to learn more about geography as a scientific discipline. Now, before my internship, my definition of geography was pretty much focused on the physical part, because I like this. I knew that it contains also a more social section, but I have to say, I expected social aspects to be much smaller than physical ones. But for this internship, this prejudice wasn't important. I only wanted to know more about my favorite subject. Now, my project was to answer the question, what is geography? I did some short interviews with PhD students from the Department of Geography from as many different units as possible. From 62 people which I contacted, 19 responded, and finally I got 11 PhD students which accepted to be on the poster. I was really happy about that because at the beginning I thought only 2 or 3 would accept. So thank you very much. Now, in the interviews, I asked them how they would explain their job to some people at a party or a social event, how they would define geography for themselves, what they found fascinating about the discipline of geography, and how their specific group is unique within the department, and how it is connected to other groups. So I recorded and transcribed their answers. As a result, I made a poster. For the poster, I picked out 2 statements from each person, which I thought would be the most interesting or would respond the best on the question, what is geography? And now my results. I can really say that I learned so much about geography. In my interviews, there was something that really everybody mentioned as the most fascinating point in this discipline. And that wasn't what I expected. It wasn't maybe the joy of the nature, the environment protection, or maybe the planet Earth itself. No. According to my interviews, the most fascinating point in this discipline is diversity. Even after a few interviews, I noticed this point and I started to think about it. I thought, if people from all the different units mentioned this one point, it really has to be special. And that's true. In one of my interviews, the person said, as soon as you look at something with a spatial focus, then it becomes geography. So, for example, let's regard politics. Politics deal with the managing of the state and the society. So at first it doesn't look like geography at all. But if you put a spatial focus to it, if you look how politics are implemented over space, then it becomes political geography. You can do this with nearly every topic, because geography is the science of our Earth, of our world, and our world is everything around us. So it's not just the physical part. There is a big social and human section in it. I like the themes they deal with. Most of them don't look like geography at all, and they show how we are influenced by geography. But then, for me, something even more unexpected showed up. It was the geographic information science and remote sensing. Before my interviews, I couldn't imagine nearly anything about it. But now I can. People capture data with all kinds of methods. So they can picture a terrain or a forest with an image from a plane or a satellite. Or they can improve map design by tricking your eyes. So this part is quite different, but really interesting. It is very much computer dependent, and the people who work in use and develop the newest technologies. So that's the point that gives geography a modern aspect. In other words, as one of my interviewees said, it's not an old subject. It's an update all the time. Now, for the poster, I picked out two statements. Sorry. Now, this big diversity of geography also brings some misunderstandings with it. During my project, some people didn't answer to my email because they thought they weren't real geographers. Some of them didn't study geography in their undergraduate degrees. Others thought that the unit they work in doesn't really belong to the subject. So they thought they couldn't participate. But I think that's not right. I think as soon as you deal with geography, you are a geographer. This big miscomprehension comes from this huge diversity. A person who watches glaciers or rivers has the same profession as one who researches in global value chains. So I think they are all geographers. Now, in my poster, I wanted to show these three big sections and that they are connected to each other. So I decided to picture it in three circles. One represents the physical geography. One, the human geography, and one, the geographic information science and remote sensing. All people in these three circles are geographers. All the units and the themes they deal with are somehow connected to each other. So geography is not only a broad subject, it is a really complex one too. Now, previously I told you my definition changed. My definition changed quite much. I practically zoomed out of my early definition to see this whole picture of geography. My view has become wider. As one of my interviewees said, geography broadens the horizon. Now, my definition is that geography is everything you bring in contact with space in connection to Earth. So it's not just the physical part. It's this whole system, this big network of themes and subjects, which are all somehow connected to each other. With this project, I wanted to answer the question, what is geography for myself? But I also wanted to give the people in my circles the opportunity to think about geography. Some of them were pleased about that and reminded at their initial passion for the subject. I hope I could also do this for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Helena. That was amazing. I must say, I really admire your courage and your ability to just stand up here and talk to a whole bunch of people who think they're really smart and just tell them a story about themselves. I think that's really good. We should actually try and hire you as an ambassador to go around all Swiss high schools and tell them about what a great subject geography is. Now, what you said is correct. Geography is very diverse and it's got many dimensions. But once you actually start doing geography and you start a PhD or something, people will tell you time and again and time and again and time and again, and people start to hate it. You have to focus, you have to focus, you have to focus. So at some point in your career, you will actually have to choose between different parts of geography. Do you have a feeling in which corner of the discipline you might end up?
Yeah, as I said, I'm really interested in physical geography, so maybe yeah, I will be in this part later on.
Loyal to the course. I can hear some cheers in the crowd. But of course, she'll be here for drinks afterwards, so those who are not in that sector, of course, have a chance to try and convince Helena afterwards. Helena, thank you very much.